should be public so people can have a chance to participate in the discussion. Because guess what? It's the taxpayers' money.
Okay.
I'm really glad to hear my opponent say that. You know, the world that I live in, of course, is on the internet, and you know, accessibility and that part of it. Again, leadership, I think you should start with yourself, and I think things should be posted on the internet. Per diem should be posted on the internet. I mean, it's the people's money, and I'm sure my opponent will agree with me. You know, if I'm working in business and I have a boss and I submit my expenses, it's either approved or denied. So because it's the people's money, yeah, I think we open these up, we open the agenda, and we put sunshine on it. That's always a good thing.
Okay, thank you very much. Patty, you want to ask a question?
Mr. Cook, legislation has been proposed that would require lawmakers to turn in receipts to collect reimbursements for work-related expenses instead of just claiming unvouchered per diem payments up to $149. Do you favor such legislation, and do you think per diem should be eliminated? You're smiling.
It's always good to anticipate, isn't it? Now, I think in business, again, there are legitimate costs in travel and things like that, but I've also been in situations where that's been taken advantage of. If anywhere there's a place where the sunshine needs to shine on things, it's certainly in the expenses of the people's money. Absolutely, 100% should be online and viewable.
Do you think the per diems themselves should be eliminated?
No, I think there's reasonable per diems when you travel back and forth. I mean, there are some legitimate expenses. You know, I think that's part of it within reason.
Okay, thank you very much.
To respond to your question, let me just follow up with responding to my opponent's assertion. Per diems are available. All our expenses are available. The comptroller has those. Our chief clerk has those. There's nothing that's hidden. They're submitted for the days that any legislator is in session. And if Mr. Cook should win this election and become a legislator, he'll have to submit his per diems like the rest of us, his days he's in session, his mileage receipts. I think there's a new movement, however, about doing more accountability. I totally support that. If we need to give our food expenses, we provide a copy of our lease to the chief clerk so that there's information that we do stay and where we're staying and how much that is. And you know, the cost of traveling, the cost of staying, the cost of food. I rarely ever go out to dinner with any lobbyists. I've had a policy forever not to do that. My philosophy is that I can talk to these people in my office, I can talk to these people anytime, but I don't want someone buying me dinner, buying me lunch, buying me breakfast, because that can have an impact in some obtuse way on my staff, and it can be construed that they may have some sort of instrumentality over my decisions. So I usually buy my own dinners, and a lot of times it's diners, and I can name them all in Harrisburg, not at the fancy restaurant. But I can provide those receipts. It's just simply not a problem.
Do you think that per diem, the system the way it is now, is fine, or do you think that per diem should be done away with? Are you okay with the per diems?
Well, there's two schools of thought. If people are abusing per diems, if they say they're in Harrisburg and they're not in Harrisburg and they're collecting per diem, I think that's a fraud, and I think they should be prosecuted. And I think if people are in Harrisburg and they do take a per diem, I know people stay at a hotel and it's like $70, $80 a day or $90 a day to stay there, plus the cost of the meals. I think the per diem system, and that's your option. You can decide which way you want to go. You can just provide for actual expenses the way the system is set up now, or you can ask for the per diem. So I have no problem either way. If we do provide the actual expenses, I have no problem with that. And if we keep it the way it is and you take your actual per diem for the day, because I know the cost in Philadelphia is higher, the cost in Pittsburgh's higher, but when it's out here in the Pittsburgh region, most legislators in this area will not take a per diem, because we'll go and stay and come back. Even if we stay, they won't take a per diem. I think that's inappropriate.
And you do take per diems?
I do.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify on one thing. My opponent says they're available. Are they available online and accessible?
I cannot tell you that. I've never went online and see if there's, have you?
Would you be okay with that?
I don't, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
everything's online and accessible now. I have no problem with that, but
And
I think that you can take a visit to the comptroller, call up, or do a right to know request, which the newspapers do every day. You don't have to go online. You write a letter and you tell them you want to know, and they'll provide that information to you.
And I was just kind of curious of where we ended up ranking-wise per diem compared to our other representatives.
I have no idea. So what's that have to do with my ability to work? So you base it upon per diems as opposed to what you bring back to the district?
No, you
So the
may-
guy doesn't have any
you
per
may-
diems, he makes no
Okay.
money. He doesn't do anything for the district.
You were the one that said you did diners and small things. Per diems were pretty high, as I recall.